So shout out to Mike the Compass, aka A Sneaker Life, for kind of giving me a little bit of inspiration for this video. If you guys didn't catch one of his latest videos, I'll go ahead and link it down below. But he was speaking on the topic of, hey, is sneaker YouTube dying, or pretty much is it dead? And this is a conversation that's been had over and over and over again, not just by Mike, but a lot of other people in this space, whether they are a smaller or a larger creator, much more established like Mike himself in his channel. And that took time for him to grow. But I guess what I want to touch on for a little bit, because Mike made some amazing points. No, it's not necessarily dead. Now, do you have a lot of people in it? Yes. And we'll touch on why I think that is now versus how it was in the past. But the way in which a lot of people are now entering to pop, to grow, is based on early looks. So having the shoe in hand early and racing to YouTube to get it up before anyone else has it up. And since that is the main blueprint, let's just talk about what is the ROI to that, because for a while you may be in the negative with that.
I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see. Yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun. I still dream about the days when we were young. I'll take a hit and still finish and one.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl TJ back with another video, Talks with TJ, aka TJ Two Shoes Chains. I hope you guys are having an amazing day whenever you're viewing this. If you're brand new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Really appreciate it. Two Shoes Crew, thank you for tuning in to another video. So like I said, thanks to A Sneaker Life, aka Mike, for kind of inspiring this video. Now, I've done videos before where I've really touched on like, hey, if you have never paid attention to what it may cost to really dive into sneaker YouTube, right? Because this is a product-based niche here on YouTube in which you have a product and you're reviewing it and you're showing it. Now, some will argue, what is the point of you even reviewing a sneaker these days? Because there are so many channels, right? Hundreds, I'm sure there are thousands of channels at this point that may actually review sneakers. Now, that may not be solely what they base their content on. It could be other things as well, especially if they are in the fashion world here. Then it's not just sneakers they're showing. They're showing you a lot of other things, maybe how to style or looks or whatever the case may be. And myself, my content is not all sneakers. It touches on a multitude of things, a lot of times budgeting or money management, which tune in for those videos too. But it just really depends on what your focus may be when you come in this. But I've done videos where, hey, a lot of times you're gonna have to show at least two shoes. Let's just say your content is solely based around shoes, so those are the videos that will probably get the most views, which also means you have to have product in hand. Now, there are always probably three ways you can go about it, right? You can try to get the shoe as early as possible and get that out to people. You can buy the shoe on release day if you're able to and you're lucky enough to in this day and age to get a sneaker when it initially drops, or you can go back for the sneaker whenever you have a chance to do that. And just based on the following you have, how loyal your subscribers are, how much they are still interested in what you may have to say on the shoe, even though they've seen hundreds of other reviews that have populated on their timeline, they may still tune in for that shoe even though it's already dropped, it's already out, and maybe they already have their pair in hand. So those are usually the three ways in which you can go about showing a sneaker. But the way that a lot of people are getting into this, and this is for both men and women, like I'm seeing a lot of women that are entering the space too, and they're taking the early route, right? Like, because when you're in business, and this kind of ends up being a business after a while, you go to market a few different ways to differentiate yourself, right? You are either first to market, you have the best service, or it's like the most unique out of everything that's offered from your competitors. And there's not really a whole lot that's going to be different in the product of itself, unless you're talking about like sizing maybe, or maybe how limited a shoe is. Maybe then you can differentiate yourself, but we're all usually showing the same sneakers up here. It's men's sizes or it's grade school sizes, maybe some preschool sizes, depending on how small your foot may be as a woman, but we're all really still showing the same shoe. So now it comes down to, okay, personality, put that aside, because you'll like some people and you won't like some people. You'll like their voice, you'll like their tone, you'll like their approach, you'll like their personality. Maybe you'll just be infatuated with how they look. And other times you're just like, no, pass for me. I can't take this person. Don't ever take that personal as a creator. It happens to all of us. Trust me. I have those who despise me, okay? Everything about me. Don't take it personal. But if you're going to be first to market, what does that mean? Well, if you're just paying retail for a shoe, especially if you are a guy, right? So let's just say you're doing even just one shoe a week, and hopefully this is staying in line with what you would normally do, staying in line with your normal buying behavior when it comes to sneakers. So a shoe a week, normally for men, you're paying about $200 with tax or even before tax. So that's a minimum of $800 a month you're dropping on a sneaker or on sneakers in a month to show on your channel. But again, that's just one video a month or one video a week. Now, if you're milking that shoe for multiple videos for the week, first off, bravo, do you. Second, I don't know if that's going to sustain you that well, just one video, unless you just have amazing editing and the video really just pops. Now, let's just say you are going for 2 shoes a week, okay? We could very well creep up into like well over $1,000 in the month. But if you're trying to show this shoe early, let's look at the ROI for that, because there's a good chance, depending on your growth rate and different things like that, you're in the negative. Now, if you're fine with operating there, then cool. And a lot of us will operate in the negative for a while. And I say that because first off, you have to get monetized. So that's 1,000 watch hours. Or I'm sorry, 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers before you can even get monetized and have a chance to earn money on this platform. So let's say you're monetized, okay. But based on the views you're getting, let's just say you're earning about 300, we'll even just say 400 a month, right? In terms of YouTube revenue, 400 a month. And remember, YouTube, absolutely, Google takes their money out of that. They take their cut out. But let's just say it's 400, right? But you're trying to get an early shoe, and it's a lot of shoes, Jordans, Nikes, New Balance, tons of shoes drop every single week. So if you're showing 2 shoes a week, but you have to get them early, you are being taxed to usually get them early, unless you just have a plug that is super nice to you. But if you do, awesome. If you don't, you're having to pay for that early pair. I think that's what people sometimes like forget. If you're seeing an early pair in here, a lot of times they're paying a premium price to get that shoe early, because guess what? Their plug may have had to grease some wheels or add a little extra to the top just to get the shoe in their hands, and then to get it out to a creator so they can have the shoe up on the channel as fast as possible to show all of you and let you guys know, hey, this is what I think of it, and this is a good look as to whether or not you want to buy the shoe. But it's also because they know they can get the views from it, which this is a numbers game, so go for the views. I understand. But if you're paying early for that shoe, if it's 2 shoes a week, you could be paying $200 extra on top of the shoe of whatever the cost already was. So now we're no longer looking at like $200 a month. Or $200 a week. We could be looking at like $400 a week easy. Now, actually more than that. Goodness, you could be paying anywhere from $500 to $600 a week just because you're trying to get the shoe early. Now, if your sole intention is to catch and release and flip the shoe and get rid of it after that and recoup your money, cool. There are a lot of creators that do that. Like, trust me, if you really gathered up all of these shoes that maybe are shown on a channel in a year's time, and then at the end of the year, look in their closet or even have them do a recap of every shoe they purchased, chances are a lot of the shoes are not still in their possession. That's not a knock. That's just actually a reality. But if you are doing this, think about the amount of money you're shelling out. So if you're doing well, like decent in terms of views even, you could still only be making $300 to $400 a month, but you're shelling out on top of the retail cost of these shoes at least a good $500 to $700 sometimes if you're looking at men's sizes to be able to show the shoe early. So you're operating in the red. I don't know that I would want to do that. And I say, listen, it's not to say that money I may spend on shoes, clothes, whatever you see doesn't exceed what I may earn from YouTube. It absolutely can. But the fact of the matter is, I'm also not paying a markup for the shoes that you're seeing on here. I'm paying retail, or I'm paying below because I'm getting them at discount based on where I work part-time, or I've searched them out on a number of different sites, and it's probably a shoe I've gone back for. So I may not have to pay the high resale price that the current market may dictate, but the logic behind operating in the red for so long is, I think you have to be self-aware and ask yourself, okay, why am I doing this? Like, are you entering this space to show shoes early with the hopes that it becomes like the end game? Like, this is your sole way of earning income? Or is it because you just want to make a name for yourself in terms of sneakers? Like, there's always an investment up front that has to be made. Don't ever think, though, that it has to be like some massive DSLR or mirrorless camera. Like, it doesn't have to be. I film on a phone. I mean, yeah, I've invested the cost of this, but that was also backed by a sponsor that I have. So I just think it's worth asking yourself, have I factored in the ROI to show a shoe early? But it is the way to go to try to get views. Now, does it always pan out? No. Because someone always gets a shoe earlier than you probably. And even if they don't, like for the Jordan 9, for that University Gold pair that came out, even some of the smaller channels that already had the review out, they didn't really make it into the algorithm for you to see that review prior to the shoe coming out. And then when release date hit, oh yeah, you had tons of videos that you could have watched. You could have watched my video that actually posed the question, how come there weren't tons of early looks? And the fact of the matter is the shoe was actually a little bit more difficult to get than what we thought that it would be. But I don't know. I just like to, have these thought-provoking conversations. And also it's just to open someone's eyes. If you want to dive into this, absolutely dive into it, but go into it with your eyes wide open, being patient, understanding just because you shell out the money for an early shoe, it doesn't mean you'll get the results that you want. And growth goes up and down. Okay. There are creators that can spend hundreds of extra dollars to get a shoe early and not see the growth. They may only be hovering at 300 to 400 subscribers in terms of growth. And that's good when you're an early channel, but depending on what you're putting out in terms of money for your channel, that can wane on you. And that's when it really makes you think, like, what are you in this for? Because it's really easy to become discouraged looking at numbers when your growth slows down. Like, my growth is at a certain point. It's pretty consistent right now, but trust me, it slows down at periods. And I'm not somebody that shows tons of hot pairs all the time. And not only that, I'm not showing you a shoe early. I'm just not paying for that. So I understand where I fall in terms of the algorithm and my channel's ebbs and flows. You'll have to also learn yours if you enter this space. And if you want to do the early game, understand the negative ROI is going to be there for a minute until the videos really start to take off. That's all. So thank you for tuning into this video. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace out.